Hello, I'm Fredrik Åkesson and I play guitar in OPETH. Now it's been a week full of rehearsals and we got here to Helsinki yesterday. And I've been actually sick. I had a flu for the entire week. So this is the first day I feel a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So it's been a bit of a struggle to rehearse when you're sick. But it's better to get sick before the tour than on the tour. So
yeah, exactly.
I should be happy. I'm kind of happy. But of course, it's a big day. We kick off our new tour and we have a lot of new songs we rehearsed and we haven't played live.
Yeah.
With our new drummer Valtteri, or new, he's been in the band 2 years now. But
has it been
and
that
we
long?
We haven't played these songs for a long, long time. And
yeah.
Some of them are from the new album, Last Will and Testament. 2 of them that we never played, any of us, live before. Well, usually everybody does their homework. Or usually, always, everybody has the goal to do their homework. And, well, maybe I'll meet up with Michael, we go through some guitar parts, just polish some details. And then we start rehearsing. And for me and Joakim plays keyboards, we have a lot of vocal stuff to deal with. And sometimes they have a different rhythm than the riff you're playing, so you have to kind of split your brain. Mm. And so we had I think we rehearsed 5 or 6 times before we went here. Yeah. Because Martin Mendes, he lives in Barcelona. Oh, so we usually, when we rehearse before a tour, we do it very compressed type of rehearsing. Yeah. So we rehearse really intense for a week or something like that.
Yeah. Do you do it with the full production thing as well?
No, I wish we did. Because we're bringing out a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
And I looked at it today and we were super happy about it. So yeah. Well, the first gig is done yet, so I don't want to curse anything. But
let's see. We'll find out after the interview, I guess.
Yeah. I think we stepped up the game. We worked with a new light designer called Niller, and he also worked with King Diamond back in the day, and also Volbeat, and also a Danish designer for the contents that we worked with. We've been trying to. Actually, me and Martin Mendes are bouncing idea with him. And we go through everything. Before we didn't pay much attention to that, so we try to step up the game, deliver something more. And this setup we have tonight, we never had anything like this before. It's quite unique because we have screens. We don't want to take attention too much from the band with the screens, but we still try to connect it with a new album. And this time around we have longer screens on the side that can be either drapes or windows. So we're trying to create a room and a habitat or something. With the new songs, the design of the contents is somewhat related to the lyrics. There's themes and elements that can relate to certain artwork of the album, and since it's a concept album, you want to have the patriarch's face. And stuff like that, and well, you have to wait and see. I always try to become better and better, and I try to look at each solo as something unique for each song. I try to do totally different solos, and this time around I spent more time with them, I think, and I did them on my own. Usually I just improvise a few takes, but this time I definitely spent more afterthought. I could dwell upon a solo for a week, and I sent something early on to Mike, and he's like, "Oh, that's too much shred. Okay, I'll try something different." And a couple of those solos, I actually saved the ones that didn't make it because they're still not bad, but they're different. Yeah. So, but I mean, I said this in interviews before, but I like to look at it as like a little tiny composition within the song, and it's supposed to elevate the song, and I try to find new inspiration on when we have our breaks, and develop as a guitar player. And also, I mean, what you're playing over is also the inspiration of trying to be more creative. Yeah. Because Michael writes really cool riffs and interesting stuff to play upon. Mm-hmm. Sometimes some of the backgrounds can be quite difficult because it could be an odd time or there's a lot of key changes, so you can't just go for your regular licks. You have to be very certain on what note to land on and find something that's just musical and elevates the song hopefully. But that can also be a tool to be more creative when you have a background like that to play over. You can take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I could babble on for that the guitar stuff forever. I'm going to stop there.
No, I'm sure actually fans might enjoy that. But yeah, no, I mean, I think I heard in another interview that you are mostly into jazz and blues, like guitar these days somehow.
Well, I'm into the shred stuff, but I've always been.
Yeah.
I always, I listen to like the Shrapnel first Vinnie Moore album still now and then.
Yeah.
For instance, and the old golden metal guitar heroes, of course, that's my foundation. But to develop, I find it interesting to, learn a bit more about jazz blues certainly, and sometimes you don't have to play so many notes. You can just try to, look at it as a vocal. Yeah. And it's endless, I try to find inspiration for a lot of different stuff. Yeah. More when I was a kid, I'm trying to learn other people's solos. Yeah. But now I'm going to play this show for the Cancer Foundation, a tribute to Ronnie Dio later this year, which is not official yet. But so then I have to dig into like Tony Iommi and Dio stuff, So that's always cool. Fun. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's like especially. Then you have to do it. I did it last year. Then I had to learn Gates of Babylon solo with Richie Blackmore, which I always wanted to learn. But then now you have to do it because you said yes to playing the song. Yeah, so it's interesting because I guess like those are actually the classics. But what did you then? Because I guess when people start learning guitar, you start also by learning other people's work. So what did you originally start learning? Well, it started with simple riff like Crazy Train with Ozzy Osbourne and Smoke on the Water, of course, and Breaking the Law, Judas Priest, and the early metal stuff, basically. The new wave of British metal stuff, Maiden, Priest, Saxon, and so on. And Ozzy, Dio, Gary Moore, Uli Roth later on, Yngwie Malmsteen, Michael Schenker, Frank Marino. Those are kind of like the foundation inspirations for me. Richie Blackmore, Tony Iommi, and of course like early Metallica stuff, more thrash rhythms, and James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett stuff, and a bit more of the extreme metal later on, but mainly that kind of. But also then you had the Shrapnel era with all these shredders after Yngwie came out. And but the first Yngwie Malmsteen was definitely a huge thing back then. And I had a guitar when that album came out. I was a kid. I bought it, and I still think it's timeless. It's just a great album. Yeah, I'm assuming that you've already met Yngwie at some point. A long time ago. Yeah. Like, how is it to sort of, as a kid when you started out and learn all those things, to meet those people later in real life? Is that like a full circle moment, or is that? Well, it's a long story, but I knew his girlfriend a bit at the time, and during the Odyssey album, when I was 14 or something, in his prime time when he was really big, he stayed for a while where I used to live, and I got invited to meet him, being a fanboy kid when I was 14, and so I hung out with him and signed my albums, and I started drinking beers with him. And I didn't know how to play that much, but I had this neoclassical do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And he looked at me. I played really slow and kind of sloppy. Yeah. But I just started practicing a lot at that age. And he looked at me, find your own style. I was just trying to, But he was really super nice, Yeah. That was very cool. And of course, unreal. Because back in those days, playing guitar was really big. Yeah. Maybe it still is, of course, to a certain extent. But in my school, like most kids, we were competing with each other, playing. Yeah. It was those kind of days, and everybody was kind of surprised that happened to me. Yeah. So that was my first. But then I met him later on when I played with Marcel Jacobs and Jeff Scott Soto in Talisman. Did you remind him that he told you to find your own style? No, I didn't. No, I think he was joking,
Oh, yeah, at least you.
But for me, I mean, I always tried to, I wanted to learn certain solo from this and that guitar player, just to try myself. Yeah. But I always I didn't want to copy anybody totally. Trying to find, it's good to take inspiration and try your limits, and also expand your limits to learn somebody else's solo until you nail it. It's good, you know. It's up to the listener to decide. If I did, I'm just trying.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm always eager to become better and learning more. And doing a new album with OPETH every time, I feel like that's a good way to try to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
like,
I'm trying to be aware of doing the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, you have your muscle memory tricks and stuff that you can always use.
Yeah.
If you're in a panic situation, you can just play super fast.
Yeah.
It's more of a tool than musical thing.
Yeah, nice tip, I guess, for future guitarists.
You can always do the good old Geezer Butler.
Yeah.
Just back and forth. Within OPETH, I mean, it depends on the song. The song is in the core, and then you feel like you're trying to do something that will elevate the solo section or whatever, you know. It's but it's super interesting to play with OPETH. It's always challenging when Michael comes up with new songs. He likes to put us on the edge.
Yeah.
You know, he has a unique way of his time signature odd riffs. Even though it's usually in 4/4 beat, it's a lot of polyrhythmical stuff. The drum beat could be one of those, but it's not. And that it takes you a while to get used to it.
Yeah. Was there a song on this album that surprised you the most, like in the early stages of you know, in the demo phase maybe?
I think actually all of them.
Yeah.
They were all super complex, I think.
Yeah.
Now, when you have them in your muscle memory, because we have rehearsed them so much, let's do another one.
Yeah.
But it's, in the beginning it was tricky, you know. Me and Valtteri, we rehearsed on our own maybe 20 times in our rehearsal room with the new songs before we went into the studio. And then we rehearsed the entire band. But that was really good practice for me to learn all the riffs with him, because he started practicing the songs way before me. But I was focusing on recording the demo versions of the solos. But that was a great practice to get all the riffs into your muscle memory, and also playing just with drums, you didn't have anything to lean on, or you couldn't hear another riff or a vocal line or a bass line or keyboard line that you could have as a cue for the next part, for instance. So that was really helpful for me to get the riffs into my DNA, basically. He's been great since day one. We did 3 tours together before we did the album, which was great. And he's just a really quick learner and never afraid of his challenge. And he has all the boxes he clicks all the boxes that's needed to be the drummer in this band, and more. Because he's super technical. He's an extreme metal drummer, but he can also play really tasteful on the calmer songs. He's very good at the more delicate fingertip feel type of things, and he's really amazing, you know. And he seems to have it's easy for him to learn songs. Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah.
I could go on longer, but sometimes when you have extreme metal drummers, maybe they're not so good at playing like a rock groove.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but maybe they're just kind of focused on that. But I think he has that kind of spectra too. Yeah,
it's not just blast beats and you know.
Which is great. I mean, tonight we're playing the song Master's Apprentice, which has a really quick kick drums, like, and I never heard the song so tight as with Valtteri. Like he's like a Duracell rabbit. Like, he really got those techniques down. Well, after the European tour we're doing now, and Scandinavia and the UK, we're going to South America to do a few shows, 8 maybe or something. So we're playing some big festivals, Monsters of Rock and Masters of Rock in Chile, with the Judas Priest and Scorpions and Savatage in Europe and Queensryche, for instance. So that's going to be great. And in summer we have lots of festivals, I think about 14. And then we're doing another tour after that. I don't know if that's official yet, but we're doing like a second leg thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, that is official. We're going to Australia and hopefully Japan, which is not official yet because we don't know, but hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, looking forward to play in Helsinki tonight. And we're quite excited, a bit nervous, but thank you for support and everything, and see you.